future here now is obviously is on PUP, and you've talked in the past about how he needed to get on the field.
Yeah, it's not going to affect. He's got to get healthy. Then we'll determine all those other things will take care of itself. Right now we're focused on him day by day. He'll be off to the side. The training staff's going to ease him back in there, and then how he plays and his contribution to the team will take care of itself from there.
Joe, how far away is it? Is this somewhere it's just a week?
He's not far. Yeah, he's been working hard all summer. He's been doing everything he can to get back on the field. And again, he's gonna, we're gonna communicate with our trainers and strength staff, and when he's ready to go, then he'll be out there.
Is the intention to give him the first crack at that right tackle spot?
Yeah, right now the focus is on getting him on the field, and then we'll see where we are. Once he's healthy and able to practice, then those things will take care of themselves.
Did he have a setback in the spring? Is that why you guys dialed him back a little bit?
Yeah, I'm not getting into the specifics of the injury. Again, he was working hard this spring, and again, he's going to continue to do that. And again, he's not far off. He's not far off from being out there. So again, he's going to do everything he can, and he has been doing everything he can, to get back on the field.
What about?
Sorry, I know you kind of got to ask this, but would you consider working him at guard and looking at both guard and tackle?
I'd say right now, right tackle. So today you'll see we're going to put Illuminor out right tackle. So yeah, today. So actually for the next however long it takes Evan to get back, and then we'll revisit the situation. Yep.
What about Daniel? What's obviously has he been fully cleared for contact, like 11-11?
Yeah, he's ready to go.
What's your plan for him this summer, like health-wise? Kind of like, is he full go 100%, or do you kind of plan to hold him, at times keep him out of stuff?
Yeah, I think we'll take it, as we go. So he's getting all the reps today. He'll get them with the ones every day. If we need to pull him back for whatever reason, maintenance, then we'll talk about that, after every practice. But right now he's will be in there every snap that the ones are in.
Yeah, and Jordan, we got to see how the body. We don't know. In spring he didn't do team drill, so he's 8 months off of it. So we're going to work with him, and he's got to communicate with us on how his body feels, how the knee feels, and that'll determine how much he does moving forward. But the plan is to be full go.
Brian, you mentioned that Jermaine's going to play right tackle until Evan comes back. Is there a chance that he performs well enough that the job is his, that he can?
Yeah, I'd say it's day by day. So he's going to go in there. If he plays well, he keeps playing well. We'll see. We'll revisit it when Evan gets healthy. I don't want to make a decision, the first day of training camp. But he's played well at right tackle. He was at Las Vegas, and he'll get in there. And we thought that'd be the good move to go ahead and push him over to right tackle. He took a ton of reps, obviously in OTAs. The big thing with the offensive line is, we've shuffled guys in and out the last few years for the competition part. If we can get 5 guys as quickly as we can going, that's what we'd like to do.
So you're saying that Evan's not far off, but you're also saying you're putting Jermaine, who's done all spring at left guard, at right tackle. So I'm trying to figure
well, he played right tackle all year last year.
Right, so it seems like a drastic change in the plans.
I can't tell you. Yeah, sure. It could be sooner, it could be later for Evan, but he played well, and we thought that was the right move to make, to move him over at right tackle, and we'll see how it goes.
What about the plan for guard now that you're moving Jermaine over to right tackle? Are you going to move John over to left guard, or are you going to just rotate guys in there and figure it out?
Yeah, so Stinney will be in there with Runyon, obviously AT and John Michael, and that's how we'll go at the start of training camp. And again, Patty, we'll revisit this, daily, but the more you can get the guys playing, we have a new offensive line coach, feel good about the guys we have.
Is that the same process with the secondary? Make sure these guys are able to communicate as one as you move forward?
Yeah, but there's competition. It's training camp, so you're not getting ready to play, next Sunday. You let the process play out, you compete it out, and then you make a decision on who you're going to play.
Joe, we saw you on Hard Knocks last night recapping your conversation with Chris Mara that you had with Daniel Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Going through the process, which is what you said you told Daniel, is a little different than trying to actively trade up on draft day for the number 2 or 3 pick, like Buffalo or Cincinnati. Those teams go through the process of evaluating quarterbacks without actually being aggressive about trying to get one. So what do you say to Daniel now about your confidence in him after obviously trying to make a move?
Yeah, no, I understand your question. I think they did a good job last night. That's legit the conversation I had with Daniel. So I think we communicated with Daniel throughout the process, and you go through the process, and we went through that process not knowing Daniel was going to be here today and full go 100%. you're trying to make decisions. You don't have all the answers. We didn't know that he was going to be healthy today, and we don't know what it's going to look like tomorrow. He's 8 months off an ACL. So you go through the process, and we had a thorough process, which I think they did a good job of showing. And if you're comfortable making a move and it made sense at the time, then that's what we would do. Whatever's best for the organization, which we talked about several times in there.
I think it was the first episode you said this is the year we need to find out if he's the guy. Is it disconcerting at all that you have that feeling after you guaranteed him $82 million a year ago?
Yeah, I think the context of that conversation was coming off of, again, these are small snippets and thousands of conversations. So within the context of that situation and the way the contract is structured and the way last year went, I think that's a fair assessment that we need better in 2024.
Joe, one of the first decisions you made when you were hired was to not give Daniel the fifth-year option.
Mm-hmm.
And that put him on edge maybe, or it was certainly a prove-it year for him, and then he stayed healthy, you made the playoffs. So for both of you, do you think Daniel, knowing what can happen next year as far as contractually, knowing his health, knowing that the team did try to, explore trading up certainly, that he will have more of a incentive or an edge, more so than he usually does this year, because he knows it is another prove-it year for him?
Yeah, Paul, these are professional athletes, so I think, this extra motivation or quotes or, bulletin board material, I'm not necessarily buying into that all the time. I think these guys have gotten where they've gotten in their careers as athletes because they're competitive, they're self-motivated, they're driven, and I think Daniel is all of those things, and I think of all the guys on the team, he probably does the best job tuning out the noise, and I think he's wired for the position in terms of those traits that I just said and tuning out the noise. And he's been busting his tail and doing everything he can do to get back on the football field. He's a great teammate. He's a leader, and I'm excited to how things go this year if he can stay healthy.
Brian, do you think, as the coach of the player, do you think a guy with a little bit of an edge, maybe more so, prove it kind of thing, can be helpful?
I think it depends on the player. So I think you'd have to ask DJ, but he's intrinsically motivated. We meet every day. He'll be ready to go.
So I know it's day one of camp, but we won't talk to you again for a long time. So we've seen in around the league the last couple of years where injury guarantees have factored into quarterback playing time.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something with Daniel that would enter the equation for you at any point?
Yeah, a little bit like what Dave said with Illuminati. We're going to go day by day. We got to see how this knee's going to react. He hasn't been full go, so those are conversations way down the road. We're going to go out and see how he does today and how it reacts each day, and hopefully he can stay healthy again. I'm rooting for the kid. He's done everything he could possibly do to get back on the field and put himself in this position today, 8 months off of surgery. So again, we'll take it day by day with him and see how the body reacts.
Do you intend to practice any differently than you did last year as far as how you prepare the team for the season, whether it's when you put them in pads, how many guys you play in preseason games, or do you intend to kind of keep it consistent with what you did last season?
Yeah, no, we switched. As you know, we switched quite a bit, I'd say, in the OTAs. There'll be some differences throughout this training camp. And, you lay out the plan, Pat. You schedule it all the way through. But, just like we talked about with the players and things like that, you have to adjust based on, who's injured, who's ready to go, how much pad work we do. We'll talk about the preseason when we get, obviously, closer to the preseason, have an idea. But we'll sit down as a staff. We'll talk about it. But certainly there's changes every year. There's changes from year 1 to year 2. There'll be changes from year 2 to year 3. You just do what you think is the team needs.